Yo, what's going on, MVP podcast listeners, or like Cass likes to say, loyal listeners? Appreciate you tuning in for another episode of the MVP podcast. I am your host, Mitch Gibson. Today, I am joined by, I would like to say, a one-of-a-kind guest. One guest that any of the big guys out there in the world, yes, I'm talking to you, Cass, haven't even had on their show yet. And I'm glad I got a chance to sit down here with Miss Natasha Pearl Hansen. She is, I guess, with better terms, she's just a jack of all trades. She's a nationally touring comedian. She's a CEO and founder of Registry.com. She's got a podcast. She's a host of herself. She's an executive producer, entrepreneur, and most importantly, our boys at Glovebox. She is a Glovebox Guru. Natasha, how are you doing today? And thanks for your time joining the show.
I'm doing good. It's so funny because right before this, you were like, I don't really do these great introductions. That was like the best introduction that I've had on a podcast. You really nailed it. So way to just, bait and switch there.
Well, I typed a few things out. I was telling her before we hit the record button, I'm really trying to work on my introductions, give a little bit more background about who the guest is. And I would have to say I'm pretty impressed and pretty happy with myself there. That never happens. That never happens.
Maybe you need to do that more often, be a little self-deprecating before you actually do the intro, and then it's going to just fall out of your body, right?
Fire it. Perfect. I love it. She said she's going to give me a few helpful hints. So hopefully those will trickle down through the remainder of the show here. But Natasha, first off, you are somebody that's probably seen tons of parts of the United States, the world, traveling, doing, being a comedian. While we're in this topic of COVID still, how has that been, not being able to go to venues? You just released a comedy special back in April. How has not being able to travel and do something you truly love been adjusting during this pandemic and where we're at now?
I have obviously a lot of thoughts on that, but the more I talk about how it's affected me, the more stupid I feel in a lot of ways, because it's affected everybody. I mean, I have so many friends with restaurants, friends with gyms, like places that have had to shut down, where people have had to go into bankruptcy. So that aside, I don't want to say this, making it sound like I don't understand that. Like, I don't want to be one of those woe is me performers that's like, oh, I didn't get to tell a dick joke or whatever. But it was really challenging. I was blessed enough to have shot my special in 2019, and it was supposed to come out in spring of 2020, but obviously everything shut down, everything got backburned, everything got delayed. So thankfully, when my special actually came out was April of this year, everything was starting to kind of creep back open again, and touring was becoming more of a regular thing. Venues were open here and there, depending on what city, but a lot of comedians were scared to even play them because they didn't want to look bad. Sure. So it was that mix of like really wanting to get back to the craft, but is this the right thing to do? How are we going to look? How are we going to feel? So by the time my special came out and venues were opening back up, it was kind of nice because I was able to use that as a catapult back into the mainstream of how things were. So timing kind of lucked out for me in a couple weird ways in hindsight.
Now, where's your favorite place that you ever had a show, that you ever traveled?
Oh my God, I have a couple. But so Chicago, I'm actually just in the process of moving back to Chicago now, where I started my career, or at least getting a little situated there. I'm trying to be in a couple of cities. I'm trying to have a place in a couple of cities, but we'll see when I can swing
Love
it. I don't want to jinx anything. Chicago is one of my favorite cities as far as comedy goes. It's just, I feel like I always get a really good read on my material in front of those audiences. It's just real. I'm at a point in my career where I'm still capable of going out, for beers or whatever with a couple people after the show. I have to be cautious of that because over the years, obviously I get more and more fans that I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I can.
the true paparazzi finally comes out.
Not quite like that, but like, I'm nice to underdogs. I don't know how else to put it. And so, so a lot of people that come to my shows regularly are socially awkward or come by themselves and I make them feel welcome. But, there's always that fine line of like, are we buddies or
are we buddies, or were you
I,
just trying to make me feel good about myself today? Which is
right,
super
yeah.
sweet and nice, because that could be the only time that they get that you get the chance to have a conversation with somebody like that.
That's how I feel. I want to make with everything I do, I want to make the people involved feel important and appreciated. And so, but the other place that I love performing in, I set this up myself. I've gone 6 years in a row now, but I headline on the island of St. Croix. I'm the only comedian that goes there.
Ooh, how long have you been doing that? Like going there?
So this actually parlays into how I got so deep involved into tech and startups. But I had a very close friend who had lived in Chicago and moved there about 7 years ago. And she hit me up and was like, you need to come to St. Croix, just make an excuse to come here. I was like, why don't I put together a comedy tour? And this was, like I said, 6 or 7 years ago. So I didn't quite have a full hour myself, not a great hour. So I got another one of my girlfriends and we went on tour together, each doing like 30 to 40 minutes. I set up all the venues. I learned a lot after that first one. I did way too big of a tour for a tiny island. We had like 3 or 4 venues around the island throughout a week, and you just don't get like,
sure,
you don't get a great show at any of them. You get a mediocre show at all of them because nobody knew who we were yet. So I learned from that one and I started coming every year. And by year 3, I was selling out every year. The whole island knows me. Everybody gets excited when I come to town. Like it's pretty crazy. It's pretty fun. And so it's been kind of cool. Every year I get a vacation kind of that pays for itself. I do one show. The last time I went, me and my boyfriend, who's a comedian as well, we did 2 shows because they were like socially distanced, smaller shows. But we were there for 8 or 9 days. So the rest of the time is just like play and fun. And, so that's one of my favorite things that I crafted for myself. It's this really great break and being able to perform on an island.
Then the coolest thing I love from that story is how you learned, like, hey, I'm not going to be this is the dumbest thing I could do, is have 3 or 4 different shows in the same area that has limited amount of people, but you learn from it and it ends up being probably the best thing that's happened down there. And now, like you said, more people know who you are. They look forward to probably that day or that specific show. This is when she's doing it. Boom.
Yeah,
probably makes this excitement
cool.
even more better.
It is. And, because I'm the only comedian that rolls through St. Croix, I mean, they have some that maybe come through St. Thomas. It's much more commercialized there. St. Croix is like, it's the biggest of the islands. It's the least inhabited.
Sure.
St. John is probably a little less inhabited, but, and, I think it was 2 trips ago, maybe I had sold out my show and this whole boat of people came and pulled up onto this, it's like this day island that people park at called Buck Island. Okay. So it's this beautiful, pristine waters. I was there swimming and the boat captain hollered to me and he's like, "Are you Natasha Pearl Hansen?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "We couldn't get tickets to your show. Can you come perform in our house?" So it was like super Miss Maisel meets Chappelle, where I got, paid to come and perform at this beautiful house with a picturesque view for, 15 people. And I just kind of roasted them. And so a lot of cool things have happened because of that place.
Well, when we decided, when we were talking to get you on the show, I was like, man, I've got a genius idea. If I'm sure that your 2 bosses haven't thought about this already, but we've got to have an insurance comedy show now, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've talked about it. I want to make sure that, and whoever's listening can chime in and I want to make sure that people aren't too sensitive, because there's certain things I'd love to roast for sure. Sure. I'm crafty about it. I'm not going to make anybody feel bad.
Well, no. That's just, they need to take their soft selves and just not go then. That's what they need to do. We're just going to be straightforward and honest with you.
But I mean, I have learned and met so many different types of people since working in this space. And it's quite an interesting industry.
It is an industry that I didn't think existed. I mean, the way I looked at insurance was just completely polar opposites than what it really is. And I think that's why I'm so excited and I'm so passionate about it. And the fact that I've got a podcast talking about insurance, I never in a million years thought that would even be a thing. But there's so many people that care. And I think that's probably why you're so attracted to this industry, because it's always one that's evolving, something's changing. You like tech, you like building things, you're creative. That's where this industry is completely going. So putting that into perspective, where did the Glovebox thing come into play, and kind of when did you decide to partner with the Glovebox and make something happen?
Yeah, we kind of touched on this earlier, just in our personal conversation, but I was coming out of this like hefty part of the pandemic as a comedian, launched my own startup. My startup is operating. I have kind of not a team on that, but I have a PR team helping me with the pushes of that every month. And so that's an offshoot of my personal brand. So I was really looking for something. I was looking for the right company to attach myself to, because whatever I do, whatever I choose to put my stamp on or my name on, I do it 10 times. I make sure I'm doing it very well. Otherwise I won't even do it. So I wanted to believe in something. So I went on Indeed, which I hadn't been on in years. It's probably funny if you ask the guys, my resume was like all over the place. I didn't even update it or do anything when I found 2 companies that piqued my interest, Glovebox being one of them. And I did a lot of research on their background, on a Crunchbase. I was pretty blown away by what I thought this company was going to do. And I was like, this is something I want to be a part of. I feel like I would be a part of the next Uber.
Sure. No, I mean, you hit it right on the head though. I mean, it is, when you do research about something, I mean, you do research about it for one reason, to find out more about what they're doing, and they're just doing so much in a short, quick period of time. And it's almost like, okay, what's going to happen now? What's next? What's going to happen next week? What are they going to announce? And then 16 employees later, and then you coming along, it's like, damn, they're growing quick.
They're growing quick. And I was the first interviewed for a guru position, and I met with all the guys. And after meeting with each of them individually, I was like, oh, I have to work with these guys. I could just tell that I would love working for these people. And I do. My God, I couldn't feel more lucky. I feel like overwhelmingly blessed every day, after being in entertainment for 15 years, which I still work in. But people are on their own trajectory there, and there's not check-ins, there's not appreciative notes. I mean, people do that. I don't want to discredit anybody in that industry. But it takes a lot more of a thoughtful person to actually reach out to somebody and say, hey, I really appreciate working with you, or I really appreciate you. It doesn't happen as often.
Would you say would you say it in a nice way, it's a selfish industry?
Yeah.
I mean, not in a bad, you see what I'm saying though? Because one, probably don't have a lot of time to think about other things, depending on how busy you are. But 2, I mean, that person's success isn't going to, don't really have a team other than the team amongst yourself and who you potentially have working for you. So I get what you're saying.
Well, and that's why I taught myself a long time ago. God, the best thing somebody ever said to me was back when I was at Second City in Chicago. I was 20, I was 20 years old. So that's almost 17 years ago. My director said, you're a natural, you're extremely talented. He's like, you're going to get done whatever you want to do. But he's like, just put it in the back of your mind, it's going to take you like 15 years to get where you want to be. And that was really the best thing anybody could have said to me, because I had a lot of little successes out the gate, but I didn't get in my head about them. I didn't think that, oh, this is going to be my thing. This is going to be my thing. I kept knowing that I had to be business savvy and keep building my own brand, building an audience, being good to people, in order to get where I wanted to be. And I would say at about year 15 was when I actually felt like that was coming to fruition, as far as just all encompassing what I do. And it's made me over the years really competitive with myself. I don't compare myself to other people. I'm not looking at what somebody else is doing and thinking, I got to do better. I just don't think that way. I think that's what has made me do so well working with Glovebox, because I always look at what I did the last month and I want to do more. I want to do better. I want to do it smarter. And I want to, keep just building this brand with this amazing team.
Now you said something, you pointed something out that I have talked about many shows ago at some point in time, and it's about how, your personal brand. And that I had no plans of even talking about this, but now that you brought it up, you do one hell of a job of personal branding yourself. I had to, in my short 5 years. So when you say 15 years before you get to where you want to be, I'm literally over here about to cry, because it's like, oh, I'm not even there yet. I'm not close yet, but I'm sure it's going to fly by. But on the same token, what was the most helpful thing for me and what kind of turned my professional career around was when I created a personal brand just for me. It wasn't to put out there for anybody else, to help know what I'm about, my guidelines that I live by, my daily, routine, something that I can wake up to when I see that, I know that I'm, when they look at Mitch Gibson, they think about those 4 or 5 core values or whatever. How important is that in this industry, let alone any other industries? Obviously the entertainment, personal branding for yourself, and establishing in your communities, in your towns, in this country, who you are as a person, as a businessman, businesswoman, whatever that might be.
Yeah. When I was younger and when I first moved to Los Angeles, I was out in LA for 10 years. People would always talk about your brand. I would mock that. I'd be like, how do you sum up a human being into a catchphrase? And then over time, your brand finds you. I think if you force it, it's not your brand, it's your tagline. But if you let it organically happen and you see a through line in everything that you do, that becomes your brand. Now you have something to elevate yourself with. For me, it was very clear as of a couple of years ago that my brand was very centered around taking negatives and spinning them into a positive. My podcast, Future Role Model, was about taking people's less exciting pieces of their journey, or things that they normally wouldn't share with other people that had happened in their lives, and how that led to their current successes. With my comedy special, I shot out on my canceled wedding day. So I took an actual, my wedding, and made it into this really great day. That was something positive and hopefully helped other people. My breakup registry, same thing. I went through a split with my fiance, and then I built a platform to be able to help other people that are going through breakups. And so I started seeing this very congruent through line and saying, okay, this is what I like to do. I like to take something that's not working and spin it into this very positive. So it just felt like such a natural progression when I found the Glovebox guys, and I was like, oh, this is what you're doing. You're taking this antiquated industry, this dysfunctional piece of something really important, and making it into something that a client can enjoy, or that helps an agent. And that goes back to partnership, creating good symbiotic relationships with people and actually partnering with them, giving them something, you're getting something in return. It's an exchange. It's not a product sale. It is a exchange of services where two people are mutually benefiting.
Young agents, listen, this can go in so many ways. Like, it's not even funny. She just said she's building partnerships with agencies to show them how Glovebox can benefit them in return, their services, and Natasha being pretty much there whenever they need her. That is genius, because that's what we should be doing as producers selling in this market. We build relationships and we build partnerships with our customers. For example, manufacturer A, I'm going to build this partnership with this manufacturer because they might have a piss poor safety program. They may not be having any meetings every quarter to talk about their OSHA stuff and making sure we're wearing safety goggles, stuff like that. I want to partner with them so they have a more healthy and safe working environment. That's what Natasha's doing on the Glovebox side of things. So just when you hear these analogies from maybe a tech guest, or from a guest that, is with a carrier or whoever it might be, partnerships work that same way no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have you always looked at it as a partnership, or was there a specific time frame where you're like, okay, I'm not selling something. How can I, one, we talk about helping others all the time. This is a rewarding industry. The more you help, the more that will come for you. I promise you it will. Same token here.
That's why I approach it with that word. You'll find it rare for me to use the word sale or sales really in any line of work that I do, even though that's what you're doing. Sales has a weird connotation as a word because it makes people feel like, oh, you're trying to sell me something. Everybody's trying to sell you something. That's what marketing is. I mean, you look at anything, I have books over there, colors on my water bottle, everything's selling you something. Certain colors pique your interest. You're being sold all day long. You're literally, and the three sections of any business are marketing, sales, and leadership. So, the cool thing about Glovebox is you're getting all of that as a partner. You're getting all of that as a partner. You're, a leader in this industry. You're ahead of this curve. I mean, if you're an agent that's ahead of this adoption curve, you become the first in your region to offer services like this to your clients. You have the chance to be ahead of your competition. And this is what I say and what the guys talk about all the time. If you're not the person who's adopting this and somebody else near you does, they have the chance to outdo you. It's not about taking over human power. It's giving your human power of a rocket ship backpack,
Oh my God. Hold on a second. You've thought about this one for a minute because you just happened to use some
pulled that out.
rocket fuel. Let's go to space.
I just thought of that. I'm pretty proud of that.
That was good.
But yeah, so I mean, and that's my whole thought process when I'm working with people is not how can I get them to buy something, it's how can I get them to come on board with us, be a part of this family that we're creating. I have never, I worked with a lot of tech companies and startups over the years, and I can explain that a little bit more too, but I have never met a company that actually listens to the people that they're working with or their agency partners or whoever it may be, and builds the technology to suit exactly what they're asking for. It's literally a development slate of ever-growing lists and products and new hires, just to be able to create an environment where agents' lives become easier. Like it's pretty astounding.
Have you noticed that a reoccurring issue with any agencies other than, obviously they need the product first off, but besides that, like, as you identify, maybe this agency struggles with, maybe customer retention or struggles with communicating throughout the year with a marketing email blast or service request, whatever it is there a reoccurring issue that is knocking this out of the park for them? Even though the Glovebox app does pretty much damn near everything for you, except for gives you a drink of water. Are agencies struggling with the same stuff, and then that's changing once they adapt to the Glovebox platform, or is it kind of sporadic depending on size agency, age of the agency, etc.?
Exactly. I mean, it's a, as people know, this is no surprise, but there's a lot of antiquated practices in this industry. And I didn't realize that until I started coming in here, and seeing that there were so many people that have wonderful, sustainable businesses. They're not necessarily trying to grow, and that's okay, but that handle everything with manpower. There is a benefit to the mixture of manpower and insurtech. And Ryan, our CEO, actually just put an article out about this the other day. It's not like this is something we've created to, like at Walgreens where you're auto scanning and you no longer have a person and that's beeping all the time. Like, it's not like that. It's a tool for the people involved. So when I'm talking to potential partners, I'm kind of, how I envision Glovebox is this like slick, like giant squid in the background.
The squid that's literally reproducing new tentacles daily.
Literally just all these arms, and it's picking up things that you already have going on and putting them in the right place for you to make sense, all in the background. You can't see it. It's behind a big sheet, but your client's only seeing this very clean, tidy space where everything that they need is in here in a file cabinet. It's just like a digital version of so many things. It makes everybody's lives so much easier. It's just clean. I just think it's a beautiful product. And, I think it's just with everything that's coming out with Glovebox, with, commercial coming out soon and all the new features, it's just going to be such a wonderful tool for people. And I really hope more people adopt our technology soon. Come meet with me if you want to.
Well, I think if they haven't adapted to it, like you said earlier a few minutes ago, is if you want to be on top of the game, I mean, it's the right time to do it, because if you don't do it now, someone else is. Chances of it happening near you, an agency near you, is very, very high, because it's growing at a rapid rate. The more people that, and that's just it. The more people that a business continues to hire, quality employees that want to build partnerships, they go out and they start doing the same things. They believe in the product, and I can tell that with your tone of voice and how you talk about the product, because you are truly passionate about it and you believe in what it's going to do. And I think that's what some people in quote unquote sales 101, they just don't believe in what they're doing, or maybe they don't have belief in themselves. So I think what you have done is established a pretty good foundation of what the app is needed for. But since starting in August, your insurance knowledge has probably blown out the roof, and you've probably learned things about insurance that you've never thought about, correct? Come on now.
Yeah. My God, I didn't honestly know much of anything. I mean, I know I had an independent insurance agent in Los Angeles for 10 years. Yes, I did. Her name was
Karen. Independent.
Karen.
Her name
Lotta,
was not Karen.
Karen Lotta. Met her at a party. Everybody that I ever met, that my hairstylist, everything, met at parties. So
watch out, conferences. Natasha can drink, it sounds like.
Right. And this is what was funny coming into this space is I used to say this as a client when I was in LA. She was always changing my auto in Los Angeles because she was putting me with the best carrier for the price. So that was the first time I'd ever heard of who was my carrier for a while.
Erie Travelers, auto owners.
I know. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was a smaller one in California, but regardless, she moved me to this one for a while, and I got pulled over for something. My taillight was out or something. Didn't have my ID card. All these things that happened, or I'd have to be at the DMV for something and not have it. I'd be emailing Karen all the time for just all these random things. Send me a screenshot of this. Send me this. So even as a client, on the smallest tier of that level of need, without home insurance or anything like that, I wish this existed back in the day.
I don't blame you. I almost don't know why Andy and the boys didn't come up with this thing a little bit sooner. I think they were a little bit behind the 8 ball with it. I'm just giving them crap. I'm just giving them
you're
crap.
Allowed to.
They give one of my buddies crap, Heath Sharon, because he doesn't own a pair of Lululemon sweatpants. Because you know how bougie those three are. Come on, you know how bougie they are. So they were giving Heath crap.
So stylish.
Have you been out to the Denver office much? I haven't been yet. So give me a little perspective on it. Is it pretty cool?
It's cool. It's set up really cool. It's pretty open. So there's a couple different offices and like conference rooms for people to go off into for calls and stuff. But there's like obviously a lot of spaceman stuff in the office, games and things. Right now, Glovebox is at such an acceleration phase. I think everybody is just like pretty hustle. And the guys do a really good job of trying to chop it up and make sure people have fun too, doing taste testings of things or doing some fun videos, content that really just breaks things up. So it's nice. I think it's a very thoughtful environment. It's like the office really encapsulates Glovebox's brand. It's slick, it's clean, it's fun,
it's blue,
it's open, it's welcoming. So it's funny. It's nice when you walk into a space and it actually feels like the thing that is being created there.
That's impressive. I mean, that you think about the same thing when you walk into like when we used to walk into like Blockbuster or Family Video.
Yeah.
There would always be that plastic, like that plasticky candy smell, but also they would have like the smell of popcorn inside of a Blockbuster, just so you got in that movie theater feel that you're ready to buy a movie. And like, but people pay that close attention to detail with their marketing strategies and branding that, hey, when someone leaves here, I want them to make sure that they know that this is like a movie theater, but you can go do it at your home. Yeah, I wish that stuff was still around, to be honest with you. I wish Blockbuster and Family Video. I miss just going and looking around, browsing. I know. Yeah.
I know, because Netflix, I mean, it's nice to go into a facility, grab something and leave. You know, with Netflix, we just have so much at our fingertips. My grandma said this to me when I was young, and it just holds water forever and ever. Stuff equals decisions, and decisions equal stress. So the more stuff you've got, the more choices you have to make, the more you just feel stressed for no reason. That's how I feel when I'm looking for something to watch on Netflix.
Like 30 to 45 minutes later, you're like, screw it, I'll just continue to watch this show that I've been watching for 3 weeks.
That's exactly what I do all the time, because my time at evening is limited lately. So I only have, so much of it, except for the chunk of time that me and my boyfriend were watching Breaking Bad. I had never seen it. He had me.
It's amazing.
He was rewatching it with me. So I would be finishing work at like 9 p.m. We'd watch like 2 episodes of Breaking Bad. That would parlay into maybe 3.5. And then I'd get up and start my day all over.
So not to spoil the show or to spoil the Amazon special that you have out there. Though you said it was about how you didn't have your wedding, correct?
Right.
So I think I know where that went, down that route. Yeah. How did you and him meet? Were you guys just out telling jokes one night at a bar and like, oh, we're funny, let's.
Well, wait, you mean my current boyfriend and I have been together for a little over a year.
Correct.
He actually hosted my comedy special way before we knew each other that well.
That's cool.
So he was a local Madison, Wisconsin comedian, but tours all over the place. And I was filming in Madison at my wedding venue. So his name came highly recommended, and he opened the show for me. And when I shot the special in 2019, I was still engaged, but we were on our way out, obviously.
Gotcha.
The wedding had been called off for like a third time. So
we won't go down that path. Go watch the special, because I watched a little bit of it just to kind of, I was like, I can't just go in this without knowing her at all. But it's pretty good. So if you are having that struggle of looking through Netflix for 30 to 45 minutes, head over to Amazon Prime and check out your girl. Let her make your night funny, because I laughed entirely too hard at a couple of things in that show. Glovebox's future. Where do you anticipate the future of Glovebox going? I mean, I look at it as it's almost like it's Amazon. It's going to be the Amazon of insurance at some point.
I do. I mean, it's structured different than other companies that I've worked with, as much as it not being B2C, it's B2B2C. So it's been interesting because, usually when I've been able to work with a company, and where I used to work with a lot of startups was helping accelerate or launch or scale their brand in tandem with my own. How I work with Glovebox is different. I just see this thing being so huge. I mean, there's just no way something else is going to catch up to what these guys are doing. It's just so, they're so thoughtful. They're so forward thinking. The development is there. Like I said, the things that are coming out on the platform, there is just no way that somebody else could catch up or supersede. It's just not possible. You get to be the first in a lane. I mean, this is a full new lane. It's a customer experience platform. All those branding and marketing videos for the CXP are coming out right now, because our team has made some killer ones and is really just nailing it as far as, what our brand encapsulates. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be wild. I'm really excited to be I'm really excited to be working with these guys.
I think what's going on now too is you're just keeping everybody's on their toes with what's next with Glovebox and what you guys are doing, because you see it, especially the last couple of weeks, the customer experience platform piece like that you just mentioned. And I kind of want to jump into that a little bit farther here, but on the standpoint of it being known, like I can't go through LinkedIn without seeing one of you guys or an agency or somebody sharing what's coming with this customer, with the customer experience platform. I mean, feedback so far, is it something that you're getting a lot of good feedback on? Is it, something that people feel like their customers are adapting to it? Are they not adapting to it? What's that look like on an adoption rate for those customers that are downloading the app?
Yeah, I mean, clients, so it varies obviously per agency, and I don't want to be off on my numbers because I haven't got an update in a while, but we're like, so AMS portals are landing very low percentile. I'd say mostly under 5%.
Okay.
Generally. Maybe there's some a smidge higher, but maybe like 1% or 2%. I think I don't want to say our number is wrong, but we are like 10x.
Sure. I mean, it's obviously below 20%.
Yeah. So, we're anywhere from like 5 to 10 times the adoption of other portals. It kind of just varies on the willingness of the agency. This is something I was reading. I actually just finished the book, The 10X Rule, last night. I read a lot of books. Just like with anything, and this is why I like to use the term partnership. If you're working with an agency, it also takes effort. It also takes some effort on the agency's part to utilize the tool at the best of its ability. And that's why we have a team specifically designed to work with agencies in the agency success bracket. We have an incredible team there, and they tell you best practices and how you can actually like get the most out of having a tool like Glovebox, which a lot of companies don't have a department called agency success or success of anything.
Sure.
Usually when you adopt a technology, you're kind of setting and forgetting.
Yep.
That's not happening here. So it's just, when you partner with somebody, I forgot what topic we were on. Remind me.
We were discussing like how the adoption rate. I mean, people in regards to like actually using the platform the way that it should be used. That's what I was going to
say. That was my train of thought from the 10X rule. Is that if we give you this amazing platform and make it really simple for you to use and really amazingly simple for your clients to use, and you hit all the marks as far as the best practices to really increase your adoption rate, you're going to be hitting the higher percentile, obviously. So you'll be hitting more of like that 50, 60% adoption rate if you really work with us and making that come.
And I think that's genius, because I was talking to Ron Schroyer with Arias Analytics and the Donna for Agent platform that they've got out. And if you haven't looked into that, that's a pretty cool customer experience platform, but it's more so rating how happy your customers are. Is your customer happy? Is he not? Or are they not? XYZ. But the biggest thing and the key takeaway that I took from that whole hour and 20-minute podcast that we had was the tech's going to be there. When you adopt the tech, it's not a robot and going to do everything for you. It might on a technology standpoint, or like on documents, on little small requests like what you guys are doing. But on the same token, the tech needs the hard work, just like you have to put in the hard work for the tech, or it's it's literally going to be a waste of expense on a monthly basis.
That's exactly it. There's, and this is something that I point out to certain agency partners, depending on the conversation that we're having and where I feel comfortable bringing this into the fold. And Ryan really nailed it in the article that came out yesterday. Let me look at what it's on. Let's see. It's IA Magazine. So he talks about it. Mm-hmm. He wrote a whole piece about it, but saying how, technology works in tandem with human power. It's not that technology is overtaking the independent agent. It's here to assist. and he said it more eloquently and obviously very long, beautifully
Sure.
written article, but to sum it up, I wish Glovebox existed for other industries. And I know there are other industries like the fitness industry where they have it. So you can build a platform and sell your videos, and there's niche industries that have these kinds of things. I wish something like this had existed for me when I created my startup, because I'm telling you, and I want to say this to agents loud and clear. If you get an app built or you have somebody else build your website, which I mean, oftentimes you don't have a choice, right? If you need a number changed, if you need an address changed, if you need buttons changed, those are all things you have to call a development person for, have them fix. It's going to cost you like $1,500 every time I need something updated, even just a drop-down menu on my website for my company. It costs me like, between $500 and $1,500 and a couple of days of back and forth. The way Glovebox has been designed, it's so simple and people can just go into it and update everything. I mean, I've just never seen anything like it. The customization that an agency has and the instant thinking that it does throughout the entire platform. Even when I bring on agencies and they're like, well, my address is about to change in a week. And I'm like, great, log in and change it. It'll take you 2 seconds. They'll update everywhere.
Sure.
And those are big things I think people forget, is that generally something like this would be a massive expense and an ongoing expense, not just a subscription or a year expense for a really incredible tool.
So I noticed something is either on a insurance Facebook group, or whether it was LinkedIn, or whether it was one of the boys that posted it out, or heck, might have been even one of you guys. But the question was, or it might have been a new update that had happened, but someone can go into the app store and maybe search your agency's app, like thinking that they can search HRM insurance. And because of how you have a setting set up within the Glovebox app, it'll actually pull that Glovebox app up based off of that agency's name, correct? Or no?
So not as of right now, but we are building, I believe that feature is slated for Q2, at least for the icon branding, because that was a big thing certain agents asked for. As of right now, everything within the platform is branded to the agency. So it comes up as the agency's Glovebox. So Glovebox is kind of like the afterthought.
Sure.
A lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, I'd say maybe a couple people that I've been talking to for a few months have really wanted that icon to be branded all the way down to their agency. So the Glovebox team listened, and that's been in the development slate, but it's not quite ready yet. But what I like to say to agencies is that when you come on board with Glovebox does, I mean, you can search for it as an app in the app store, right? Sure. But if you just do that as a Joe on the street, you're not connecting to the agency or an AMS system, and you're not connecting to the various carriers. So you can add in your own documents from your carrier. It's not going to refresh them the same way because there's not this congruent system communicating. So the beauty of being a partner of Glovebox is it's the only way to make this platform function. So you're ahead of the curve. Somebody can't have a Glovebox without having the agency that has Glovebox.
That makes sense. Exclusive
invite.
See, that's what I kind of felt like it, and I could have just probably not read the whole thing or didn't look into it more than what it was, but I knew it had something to do with the app store, and like looking, if I couldn't find the Glovebox app, if I just, customer, you say, hey, go grab our insurance, our agency app on the, app store, look for this, this, and this. We can tell them to look for the Glovebox app, but some of them probably just automatically, because you're the one advising them, they're probably going to look in maybe HRM insurance services on the Google Play Store or on the Apple Store, expecting something to pop up. Would that Glovebox app pop up if we are customers? That could be me of what I was getting at. I don't know if I read it or not.
Well, this is why I tell agencies, like, this is an exclusive invite, right? So think of it like your really cool personal party to this digital version of your agency, right? You send out a link. It's like an invite link via text or email that brings the client in.
Gotcha.
also can be shareable over social media that can bring a prospective client in. So the function of Glovebox as a tool is reaching new people and there for the current client base. So as far as somebody wanting to even go in and search for an agency in the App Store, I'm not sure why anybody would even do that, because the App Store would pull up so much jargon and random stuff that you're not searching for. You actually would rather be sent an invite link. Most platforms are operating that way now anyway, where you click on something and that will bring you to the actual platform.
App Store link, platform app. Yeah, that's smart. No, I figured that was the case. I don't know who. Maybe it was someone that just asked a general question, trying to see if they could get an answer, which could be it. So I'll blame the ADHD again. What's your favorite thing about the app? I mean, if you could if you could pick one specific thing other than the story of your agent wishing you could get on there and grab your auto ID card while you're at the BMV, what's your favorite thing about it? Or has that favorite thing not came out yet?
No, I mean, the favorite thing that currently exists would definitely be being able to grab and pull in outside carriers as a client. So your clients that are using Glovebox, you can also tell them, hey, you can store any other insurance you may have in here. You're welcome. You're part of my agency. You get to have this exclusive place to store all of your documents. You may as well grab any policies that aren't with me and store them in here too. Step one.
Let me ask you this real quick before we get, because I gotta reel these people back in that are listening. When I do that, am I the agent able to see what policies is on the app with them?
Exactly what I was getting to. Step two. So on the agent side, they get to go into HQ and then you can pull up any of your clients' glove boxes at any given moment. And you can see if they're storing policies that you didn't write in there, and you can see all the details because they're utilizing your exclusive platform. So all the things that they're storing in there are now something that you can view. And you're being able to view them not for any purpose, but to save them money. You as an agent have the ability to cross-sell them at that point. You can actually search for a better rate for them and tell them, hey, if you actually, bring this policy over to me, not only am I going to save you money, but that gives you everything. All of your policies are in Glovebox. All of them are attaching to my system. It'll just make it so much cleaner of a process. And clients, when they come in, we're building all these tools for agents to be able to log your clients into all the carriers. So we're making it so a client comes in with just their phone number. That's all they need to log in. They don't need to create credentials.
It's beautiful.
And all of a sudden, all their policies are just there. I mean, it blows people's minds.
I just think, I mean, on a startup basis, like you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna start this. You've started plenty. You've seen the growth of this one in just the short time that you've been with Glovebox since August. A startup's not easy. First off, second of all, there's a lot of work that goes into a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. If some agent out there, some young punk agent wants to start his own agency, wants to leave the agencies out now and start his own business, what advice could you give maybe that young agent who wants to start their own agency before they get in there and jump in head first? Because I mean, you've done a few. I mean, yeah, like you said it, you've got the Breakup Registry.com stuff, but with your professional background and things that you've had your hands in, I mean, is it a good idea? Any tips, tricks, no tricks other than if you're going to start an insurance agency, get Glovebox?
That is a big part of it. But with anything, the way that things are going now, and I've had this conversation very candidly with a lot of recent agency partners, you have to think of the business that you're building in some way as e-commerce. Not e-commerce as in drop shipping and sending hats to people in Florida. Like e-commerce as in it has to function online in a clean way where everything syncs and people have access to what they need to. People really don't want to be on phones. It's rare that people want to be on phones. I don't want to sit on hold and wait for people. I'd rather be able to handle something on my own. So the more tools you can give somebody, the more empowered they feel. And then when they actually do want to connect with you, it's more poignant. I've brought on agency partners that are just launching and have maybe 50 clients. I've brought on some that have, 10,000 clients or, or more. It is so smart when you're kicking things off, if you're a brand new agent, to integrate something like this into your system and just have it be how things function from the start.
From the beginning.
Because then your adoption is going to be through the roof. I mean, we have, like I said earlier, adoption is not something that's the same for every agency. It really depends on a number of factors. But on the higher side, I mean, you're going to be landing on the 70th percentile. Sure. If you're coming in with fire like that, if you're just telling your clients, hey, this is how I do business, they're still seeing your picture on everything and your name on everything. So if they're interacting with you, they're feeling like it's you. And then you're just a phone call away if they do really, really need something. If there somebody. Yeah, but we've even built that into the system coming out soon as push notifications. So there's going to be this whole two-way communication Slack style center where the agent can push notify one client, a group of clients, every client. That was something that was really built in thoughtfully because a lot of agents have, natural disasters in certain regions or certain things will happen where they need to contact all their clients at once. So, the design and the development of this is very thoughtful and very centered around exactly what the agents will need to make their lives easier. So if you build it into your tech, you're going to win.
No, you're good. I didn't mean to interrupt you right there, but I agree. I agree. But as you look back at 2021, the things that you guys have done have been crazy. The things that they have built in and just continue to shock the world and shock us agents. 2022 has probably got even bigger plans. Without spilling the beans on what's could come, I mean, what can people expect, I guess, without saying this, that, and the other?
Well, people can expect every type of insurance that is available to be available in Glovebox. So we're going to
even commercial lines.
Yes. Commercial lines is coming soon, and then life and health will be shortly thereafter. A lot of agencies span into financial, brokerages, anything that people are going to need done within their agency, Glovebox will be able to handle. I think the other biggest thing I'm excited for is the marketplace. I think that's going to be groundbreaking. We have built this internal marketplace that agents are going to be able to create to cross-sell. We're trying to build out the tools for you to be able to cross-sell wildly to the platform. Referral tools, quoting right within that platform I told you about, that communication center. We'll be able to, we'll have automatic bill pay as an option set up direct to the carrier through the platform. Notification sent to people when it is time to pay a bill. Commercial is going to be really sick. It's going to be so
I told
it's going to make
I don't have the platform. And I told him I wasn't getting it until commercials comes out. So he said this year and he's keeping his promise. Why do you say it's going to be, why do you think it's going to be sick? Like what else what's so into it? Like certificate of insurance request, things like that?
We're still, there's two different ways we could operate as far as certs are concerned. And this has been a whole learning curve for me too, but I've kind of talked Ryan's ear off to get in tune with all this. But a big thing is going to be audits. Audits are going to become less of a horrifying event.
That they are.
Yeah. And certs, there's different ways we're looking at building certs. So I haven't gotten an update on that, but we should know that pretty soon. I would assume we'd be able to send something out to our current clients in the next month and a half on what that's actually going to look like. The tools that are going to be there. I mean, I have so many agencies that I brought on that are smaller that maybe only, 10% of their client base is in commercial, but it makes up 50% of their premium.
Yeah.
And they want to expand more into commercial, but they're not sure how, or they're not sure if they can handle it. So this is going to be a tool that's going to allow people to really maximize their income and minimize their effort.
All I can think of is like how big of a help this would be like with my contractors, because that's something we're very, very good at our agency, is how quickly we get a certificate of insurance back to a requester or from our insured directly, whatever it might be. That's our number one priority at that specific time. But besides the audit kind of sucks, but that's every audit. But with the certificates of insurance, where I think it could be a home run is, let's say ABC contractor has additional blanket additional insured agreements, blanket waiver of subrogation, blanket whatever it might be, based off of, per contract. So if a contractor's, contract says he needs to have this, this, and this, and his by policy in our agency management system shows that he does have that, is that person able to go in, put who the certificate for, specific language that they are requesting, and within seconds they could have that certificate of insurance back. Might be a little bit more intuitive, but all I can think of is how like simple that would be. And when you're going to sell a proposal, or to build a partnership with a proposal with somebody, and be able to say, hey, the biggest thing that we can do for you is offer up this app. I mean, one thing that you probably struggle with is getting certificates of insurance from your subcontractors. All you have to do is on this app, be able to boom, bang, bongo, and you'll get it back in real time. Getting something in real time in this day and age is gold.
Yeah, that's exactly what Ryan was explaining to me, and just how seamless that process is going to be. So once we have, I'm excited when we have more information on exactly how certs are going to be built, whether that's going to be in our platform or syncing with the platform that the agency already uses. There was 2 different ways to go about that. Potentially there was the option to do both, but that would, delay, that would take a little bit longer to do. So I think from what I know, we were going to be starting with one and potentially being able to make it more flexible down the line, but I'll have to get updated on that. Whatever way we go, it's going to be the right way.
Well, I promise what I'll do is anytime Glovebox has an update or has a big reveal of something, or hey, I got this cool little thing that's new on this update or whatever, let me know. We'll get you on, because I really do feel like the more that there's a lot of people out there that use the app. There's a lot of people that know it. Glovebox is a show sponsor of the show, but that's not why I had to have you on. That's not why, because we're here to help others. We're here to make a difference. And I truly think this app is going to be able to make a difference in the future. So I think we keep the listeners and agents and agencies out there informed with changes and what you guys are doing. And like what you said, like you guys, Glovebox gurus are there for the customer or for the agencies to help and listen and provide detail and make it a better overall customer experience for your customers.
Yeah. And I just can't harp on it enough. Like, the team that you're getting to work with by becoming a partner of Gloveboxes is just unparalleled. Like, sure. I've gotten emotional at times just thinking about these people. Like, it's just a really great group of people that care. And then, on top of what we're doing for agencies, there's efforts in philanthropy that our team is getting involved in, like giving back to the community, giving back to our agency partners, creating events. So, I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I couldn't even be more excited about where things are going to be in a year or 2 years.
Especially within the last year. Like I said, 21 was crazy. 22 is going to be even more nuts, and the technology is only going to get better. I mean, I don't think the technology can get worse. So it'll be fun. It'll be exciting to see where this goes. And like you said, as you guys start building, do philanthropy work. I didn't hear the comedy show mentioned in there at all. So that's going to have to happen. So make sure Glovebox and make sure your boys hook you up. I think there would probably be at least 500 agents that would attend something like that.
I'm gonna probably do Comedy Works at some point soon, so maybe we can just do a blast invite to all the agencies and have them come out, and then I can just have my sign up sticker right on the back of my sweatshirt.
There, it's perfect. There you go. Highlight it. I'm gonna get into my favorite segment of the show because it is not talking about insurance at all. Sounds bad, but it's my 5 rapid fire questions. I think I had the worst answer of all time a couple weeks ago with Derek Hayden. He's an agent, works for Shelbyville Insurance, which is in like Shelbyville, Illinois, very, very kind of small hillbilly town, because his answer of my first question was camouflage. And I never thought someone's favorite color they would say was camo, but he stopped me in my tracks. So we'll go into these 5 rapid fire questions real quick, and I'll let you get on your day, Natasha. But what is your favorite color?
Oh,
If you don't say red right now, because
with the red count, it's actually not. It's going to be some form of green, but I was trying to think of a cooler name like chartreuse, but chartreuse is not my top green.
So
but
green of some
form
sort.
Of green.
What's your favorite flavor ice cream?
I love Halo Top candy bar.
Halo Top. That's you can buy that like in Walmart and stuff. Like they're in the smaller pint containers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do they sell them in the gallons?
No, thank God. Otherwise, you could easily eat the whole thing because it's light ice cream. It's light ice cream, and it is so good. I sometimes will sit down on the couch and be eating it and say to myself, somebody spent a year, 2 years, 3 years just creating this. So us fatzos
can sit here on the couch and
can
enjoy
eat a
ice
whole
cream.
pint of something and not feel like garbage about it.
So it's the lightness of it really, I mean, you really don't feel like crap bloated after?
Huh. No, you eat a whole pint, no problem.
Well, I might have to give that a try then.
Star. Oh yeah.
If you could spend 24 hours with anybody dead or alive, whether that's to help better educate yourself, we want to learn, or whether that's someone just to have a good time with, who would that be?
I have so many of these.
Give me your top 2
so many of these. Barbara Corcoran is one. I just want to hang out with her so bad. And who would be my second top one? Probably The Rock.
Wow, I like that. I like The Rock. No, that's good. That's good. You'd be ready to work out.
I love people that are business savvy and entrepreneurial and also centered around entertainment. And so, I think I would love hanging out with them both on all those aspects.
Hopefully I don't get you in trouble with this question. I've never asked this question, but just because you're in the entertainment business, I have to. Who's your favorite comedian besides yourself?
Oh gosh.
Or should you give to?
Bill Burr.
Okay.
Bill Burr. I think he's just ridiculously funny always.
Are you a Kevin Hart fan?
Yes, I am. It's funny because I appreciate all stand-up. I don't critically watch other stand-up comedians. I'm not one of those people that watches somebody special and think, oh, they could have done this better. I relinquish my myself and enjoy it like an audience member. But Bill Burr always makes me hurl laughing. Just because he's just and you meet the guy. I've met the guy a couple times, and he's just not angry. You would think he would be angry, because he's just got so much passion behind everything, and he's just always yelling. But nicest guy ever, just a great guy. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I appreciate his humor so much.
Well, that's good. If you could visit anywhere in the world, this is my last question. So there's 6 questions because I threw in that last one. But if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would that be?
I really want to go to Tokyo.
Ooh, it's a good one. I haven't heard that. That's the first on the show. That's the first one. What? Any specific reason why Tokyo? Just because of the culture difference?
It's just, culturally different. I've been wanting to spend some time in the Eastern hemisphere of the. Which direction do people go? It's
I'm very directionally challenged.
Eastern or Western? Because it's just on the other side.
At some point, all I know is if you go east, you're going to end up going past where you're going to go west.
Exactly. I never know which direction people, but whatever. I'm going to South America for the first time this year. But I've been to Europe a couple of times. I haven't made it over to Africa, Asia, Australia. I have a lot of the world I want to see. I'm very adventurous. I started working towards getting my pilot license when I was launching my startup. And so
Sweet.
I'm very baby steps in, just like a couple hours. But so yeah, there's a lot of the world I want to see.
That's awesome. Last thing I want to ask you, just because it's, like you said, you like helping other people. This is the reason why I asked this question, because it was a podcast that I was listening to that helped change my life with things that I was going through, divorce, the life changes. Feel like I'm a 50-year-old man at age 26. And it took me listening to a podcast to wake up and hear some positivity by being asked this question right here. So if you had any piece of advice for somebody young, somebody new, whether they're getting in this industry, whether they're trying to figure out their career path, what would that be?
You mean just advice in general? You want to go off some of my
any advice that you think that, because I think a lot of personal advice leads to professional success.
My favorite thing somebody said to me a couple of years ago was, how you do anything is how you do everything. So I think that says so much in so few words. If you do anything to a level that doesn't reflect what you want to be living like, then that's going to reflect everywhere in your life. And I'm saying that to myself as well. It's something that I tell myself. That's why I resonated with the book, The 10X Rule, so much. When, if you do something, you should do it very well, even if it's not your favorite thing.
I love that. Literally, that will be made into a clip. When this episode drops, I promise you that clip will happen, and you'll see that clip somewhere, because it was better than the camouflage answer of what your favorite color was. But Natasha, I really do appreciate your time. I really appreciate everything you're starting to do for the industry, because we're a big team in this industry, whether we're competitors, whether that we're carriers, agents, producers, or even the customer. We're all here to help one another. That's why this industry is great. It's people like you that keep coming into the industry that give us a chance to keep the industry going in an upward way. That's right. Give it a little, give it a little fresh.
Shake it up a little bit.
People say all the time it's male, pale, and stale, and I agree. It's almost like I'm not even going to say what I was going to say, because that could get me in trouble. But Natasha, anything else you've got 30 seconds here. The floor is yours before we close up.
You can find me on LinkedIn. Just look me up, Natasha Pearl Hansen. You'll see all the logos of the things that I do. And you can email me if you're an agent, natasha@gloveboxapp.com. We can talk. Again, like I said, I'll present everything the way I normally do, and you can decide from there if you're ready or crafty enough to want to come on board.
If you're ready to put the rocket pack on and hop in the space shuttle,
on, baby, put it on.
That's good stuff. Well, I do appreciate it once again. All you loyal listeners, thanks for the continuous efforts. Thanks for the continuous, listen and viewership every single week. Without you guys, the show wouldn't be possible. Thanks to the team over at Agency Intelligence, Cass, Sarah. Appreciate all your hard work. And for myself, Natasha, and the MVP podcast, always remember that you can make a difference. Go have a great day, and we'll catch you next week. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.